Aloha, this is Matt Darnell with ComTel.Cloud, cloud like up in the sky. This is a follow-up to a previous video regarding bonding the NICs that are on your NAS. Try to say that 3 times fast. So we had a relatively mid to high end range switch with the Unfi, one of their new Unfi switches. But here we've kind of gone downstream a little bit, AKA less expensive. So first we're going to start off with a Grand Stream switch and do the exact same type of tests. And the previous video, if you haven't watched that might be a good one to watch first, because that kind of explains the setup and how we have things working here. So I have my NIC here, and now if you see on the video here, the biggest difference between the last video that we did yesterday and today is that we don't have 2.5 gig ports on this switch here. So they're all gigabit. And one thing I noticed looking at the data sheet here is it does not support 802.3 alpha delta, the AD, the bonding of ports. If you look at the higher end, because again, we have a 7801. If you look at the 7806, then it does support 802.3 alpha delta. But so this switch doesn't even support bonding. So it's really going to be a great test to see what happens when we do the bonding where we have to do nothing on the switch. Again, just to get a baseline, let's do our test with just using one of the NICs connected. Actually, all 4 NICs are connected, but only one of them has an IP. Only one of them has an IP address that we're working with here. The other ones are just DHCP. So let's start that. Let's go over to our other machine. Copy those. And let's see what kind of data speeds we are getting. So if I come here to, I can see, so about 111, I think we're about 113 megabytes, which if you, there we go, 113 right there. If we bring out our calculator, I don't remember exactly how much that was, a little over 900 if I remember correctly. Yeah, so 904 megabits using that one NIC there. So I think definitely, we are at wire speed practically, and you're never going to achieve, 1,000 megabits, 1 gigabit connection on a 1 gigabit. You're not going to get 1 gigabit of throughput on a 1 gigabit connection. You'll never get there. Oh, I don't know. This is 124, so this is a little bit faster than what but that was probably just a little burst there. So now what we found out is, I think it happens so fast, we're just going to be able to create this bond. And again, this bonding does not require us to do anything on the switch. So we're going to do, let's do the same thing. First, let's do 2, and then we will go ahead and try 4 and see if we get a speed increase. Let's see. Let's get that ping going, because we know we're going to lose a few pings, but just see if it's the same amount and I think the most we lost yesterday was 2 in doing all the different bonding types. So let's go ahead, probably lose the same 2. It might have already happened. So it's come back, but the copies were continuing. I might have to say skip or continue, try again. So let's go ahead and say try again here, and it will continue to copy. And we'll do the same thing on the remote machine. And let's see what kind of speed increase we've got. Let's refresh this here. Let me go ahead and switch again so we can see that a little bit better. If I go to my network interface, we'll see that my bond 1 should just have 2,000 megabits. And if I look at the resource monitor for the network, 216. And let's take a look at the calculator again. So let's say 218 times 8 is 1.7 gig. So again, on a switch that doesn't even support bonding, and again, it took less than a minute, I've increased it by a factor of 70%, you know, from 900 to 1700. Again, I think this is an anomaly when it says 243 there, but really something that everybody should be doing. And if I lose one of those two ports, it's going to continue to go. So that's really great to see on a switch that doesn't even support it. Let's see if it's different, that it's going to stay the same even with I do all 4 ports. Because yesterday what we found out was when I did, whether I did 2 ports or 4 ports bonded, I got the same speed. So we're going to go ahead and kill that. Let's go ahead, cancel this transfer. Delete all the files we had copied over on both machines. Cancel that. Delete those. And let's see. So going back, we probably lost. Yeah, we lost 2 pings again, but really not a big deal. So I can just refresh this. This takes refreshing on its own takes a little while longer. So now let's create it with all 4 network interfaces and see if we get the same speed or if it's going to be a little faster. So as soon as we lose this pings and it comes back, you know, we're safe to start the transfer. So there's our 2 pings. Oh, we only lost 1 ping that time. That's awesome. So let's go ahead, come here, and just try to drag these over. Copying there. And same thing here. Copying there. So we'll see if we get anything faster. Let's refresh the Synology page here. So network interface, we have all 4 bonded, and I have the 4,000 megabits there. So let's look at our resource monitor here, look at network. So 222, and let's see, you know, what that stabilizes at. So 222, 241. So this is actually a little bit faster than what we were getting yesterday with the Unfi switch when we were doing down to 201 there. So probably all in the same range. So whether we're using this Grand Stream switch, we're using that Unfi switch, and whether we use 2 ports or 4 ports, it's, you know, all the same. It's the same relative speed. But I mean, as opposed to 1 port versus 2 ports is, you know, 70% increase. Where we go from 2 to 4, it's negligible. Again, use 4 if you have 4 switch ports available, because that just gives you more redundancy there. And when I say, you know, prices, if I go, let's go to store.ui.com. Again, they're different switches for sure. So the other one it was $800, the Pro Max PoE. I'm not comparing the two. Well, I'm comparing the two, but they're not similar. The Pro Max has PoE++. It's got 24 ports. It has 8 2.5 gig ports. Has 2 SFP plus ports. Where the Grand Stream, if I was to look, Grand Stream, is it a GWN7801 P, I believe. I think those are, no, I don't want firmware. Let's see where I can get a price on that. So $104. So, and it's probably, sorry about that, probably Prime eligible. So, again, different levels of switches, but you know, here on this channel, you know, we're not beholden to any brand. You know, we always, there's, you know, a Ferrari's not good for me. A Ferrari could be great for you. I'm happy with my Ram truck. You know, I'm not a Ferrari kind of guy. But if you're a Ferrari guy or gal, that's awesome for you. So it's not so much when I talk to customers about price, it's about value. You know, what do they want? What do they need? What kind of ecosystem do they want to be in here? So yeah, I'm really pleased with this switch. You know, the copy is done, but the way it was able to do that, you know, for $104, it's only 8 ports, only PoE. I think it's PoE plus I saw, but Very, very well done. So now we got one other switch. Let me go ahead and grab it and we'll give that one a try. So the GrandStream switch you just saw, that was not new. Yeah, I found it down in the warehouse and it was already open. So I just defaulted it, brought it up here. I'm not sure it was used for it before. But again, everything you see, I have bought with my own money. So you're absolutely getting, my honest opinion. We're not beholden to anybody. So this is another one I got. This says an easy smart switch. I'm not quite sure, how smart it is, if it's even going to have it. But let's go ahead and open it up, and we'll set this up here. As maybe we will. We'll set this one up and just see again. This is entry level switch, much like the GrandStream is. So let's go ahead and it's got a little thing here. Let's go ahead and open that up. I have not looked at the spec sheet for this, if it supports bonding, but it's just a traditional 16-port switch. No PoE. It's just got a barrel plug and looks like a Kensington lock there. For a metal case, usually they have a little grounding screw or something, but it's got a reset thing right there. So if you need to do a reset, and this probably just this just has the power, and that's it. There's no patch cord. There's no nothing. Oh, we've got little feet. Now this is not rack friendly here, so you just would put the little feet right here on the bottom. But if I look at the install guide, I'm just curious if it support, if it's going to list the network protocols that it supports, and I don't think so. This is just installation. Yeah. So, no. Oh, here it is. So standards is 802.3i, no idea. 3U, 3AB, not sure what that is. It has X, 3X, P, 802.1P, and 802.1Q. Q, I believe, is VLANs, but there's no, alpha delta that it supports there. So this is going to be like the gigabit to the GrandStream there. Let me go ahead and set this up and we'll get it plugged in. Again, we'll have one connection going to our laptop over there. It's a 2.5 USB NIC, but it's going to it'll negotiate down to 1 gig. We'll have our uplink, and then we'll have 4 ports, somewhere in the middle here for the Synology. Be right back. We have the switch plugged in. Again, one port there for the upload, 4 going to the NAS, and then 1 going to our 2.5 gig port. So plugged in, we're just going to keep it like it is now, and then we'll go backwards. So right now, they are all bonded together. So let's see what kind of speed we can get when they are bonded. So we're going to do the exact same test and see what it looks like. Then we're gonna go from 4 down to 2 and down to 1. So we're starting the copy here. And then on the remote laptop. Okay, so this is with all 4 of the ports bonded there. And if we look there, so it's at 125, but we'll wait for it to kind of balance out there. 221, it's cop around there. So very similar to what we were seeing with the GrandStream switch and with the Unfi switch. And if I look at this one here, this is what we're testing with. Right now it's normally, I guess, $90 on Amazon, and now it's Black Friday. You can get it for $60. Again, does not support any. It says lags though, but yeah, it does not support the bonding. So if we look here, so around 215. Again, same thing we were seeing with all of the other switches. So now let's go ahead and break this connection, this bond. Go ahead and delete it. I'm getting really good at adding these things. So it should revert back to just all individual NICs, and then we'll add back in, um, just 2 of the 4 ports on the NAS and see if it's the same as all the others. So let me go ahead and give this a refresh. Oh, we'll cancel these transfers. There we go. So if I go to the control panel, and let me also start the resource monitor. And if I go to network here, and I have, again, my 4 individual ones, we'll create a bond, but again, only do the first 2, 1 and 2. So we'll go ahead and create that bond. And when we see the pings go away, then come back, then we know we're ready. Oh, there they go. We're going to lose 2 pings, pretty consistent with that. And it's back. So let's go ahead and we can delete the local copies, drag those over again. Okay, that started. We'll have to kill this transfer. It died when we made the change. Drag, oops, not just one. Get a bunch going here. Copy those over. So now we only have 2 of the NICs connected. And let's see, give this a refresh. So two NICs connected. And let's look at our resource monitor or network speed. So that's about where we were. Here we got 220 megabytes. And that's just about where we were. Again, it's going to go to 240. Then we see it drop back down there. So, so that, whether we're using the Unified, the Grand Stream, or the TP-Link, I might have said Netgear, but it's a TP-Link like you saw. As far as speed goes, 2 ports is pretty much the same as 4, but 2 is much better than 1, because obviously we're never going to approach that 220 when we're only using 1 NIC. One thing I want to do that we kind of brushed on previously is if I create a bond here and I choose 3 and 4, it's probably going to get that same IP address that the others, that LAN 3 has right there. Because we're talking about going to 2 different switches. And I was thinking about that last night. What's the best way to do that? Oh, interesting. It took both. That's interesting. I started bond 2. I didn't lose a ping, but let's try it again. See, so it started. I wonder if the other side. Interesting. So both sides stopped the copy. So by doing the creating that second bond, that did something to the first bond. What happens when you assume? I assume that the second bond would not affect the first one whatsoever. But I can imagine, some kind of Linux under core there, and there's an IF up down or something, or they rewrite the config and they just restart, service network restart kind of a thing to have it read the new configuration, because that's basically what this interface is doing, right? Just writing all the configuration files that the operating system reads. Okay, so let's go ahead and I'm curious, if I delete this now, is that going to affect us here? And are we going to lose any pings? Or are we going to, is that going to affect the copy? Because again, you can never assume with these kind of things, and usually after you think about it, you go, yeah, that does make sense that this is going to affect that because they're connected through such and such and have it there. But yeah, so with everything that we have seen so far, and I'll let you know if it kills it there. Even if you have I hate to say low end. If you have an entry level price switch, and you can see that switch is under $60. If it's not PoE, but 16 ports of gigabit Ethernet, sort of managed, kind of a light, probably a light web management. And on that time, we didn't lose any ping, so we're back to normal here. But yeah, definitely you want to use all those LAN ports that you can afford. And only time they need to be consecutive we found is with the Unfi, and you're going to do the 802.3 alpha delta bonding. But yeah, if you're just plugging them in, then it makes sense. So all it costs you is a couple patch cords and switch ports. And again, from 1 to 2, absolutely worth 70% increase in throughput. 2 to 4, negligible. Only thing we're getting there is some more redundancy, but definitely do it. I absolutely encourage you to do that. So again, my name is Matt Darnell with ComTel.Cloud, cloud like up in the sky. We got more videos, new videos coming out every week, so definitely give us a like and a subscribe. If you have any questions on anything that we talked about, I probably said about 18 things different wrong. Definitely correct me down there. Would love to have a conversation. So until we talk again, a hui ho.